Within this lesson, we're going to talk about how to integrate GooglePlus into your website. So GooglePlus, again, this is a really good resource, especially for SEO on your website. So it's always encouraged that you do go over to GooglePlus and create a profile for your website. So again, for SEO purposes, it's amazing. So even though maybe not as many people are using Google Plus or your clients aren't using it, it's always a good idea for SEO purposes. So in an earlier lesson, we showed you how to create this G Plus button. So we've linked it here to our G Plus profile within Google. So all we have to do here is we can just go over to our styles. We can create a background color just to highlight it a little bit more. And I believe it's somewhere around this type of color, so it might be slightly off there. So when we refresh it, we see that we do have this Google Plus button, and it's more of this kind of orangey red color. So when we click it, it brings us over to our profile. So there's also ways to create Google Plus buttons. So they've got their follow, they've got their plus one. And what follow does is kind of similar to what we were doing with Twitter and with Facebook. It allows the user to get to actually link to the Google Plus page and allows users or G Plus users to add your company page into their circles. And again, without having to leave your site. So again, this is another one of those where you don't have to leave the site, you just simply follow and add them into your circle. And this is really good for increasing engagement. And a lot of times when you're bringing people off site, sometimes you don't want to be doing that. It's preferred to keep people on site. And so this is the generator here for generating that follow button. So all you have to do is enter in that profile URL, indicate what size of button you want to make, the annotation, so if you want to have no annotation there, so you can just have that Google Plus button, the languages, there's some options here for be dynamic, there's also parse, so you could remove that and just simply copy out that code. So what we're going to do, place this code in the head section of your source file. So we're actually going to place it here at the bottom. So I don't generally like to keep JavaScript at the top. So you notice that it did say that before you close your body tag. So that's where we've put that. And then here, this can go where we want the button to be positioned. So we're just going to keep it in line with the other two buttons that we had, the other Facebook buttons there, and add it in this way. And now when we go over to our page, we should have a G Plus button here in line with the Facebook buttons. And we might have to do a little bit of styling to get them all in line. So here we can just simply click and follow. And if we're not logged into G Plus, it's going to ask us to log in. The same thing that Facebook would do. If we're not logged into follow or like on Facebook, it's just going to ask us to log in, and then it's going to do that following the same way that Facebook was doing it. Now in general, I'm not going to be using, I don't really generally use the Google Follow because I don't really like that it takes up the space on my web page. But again, it's a personal preference. If you do want to build up that Google Plus profile, then this might be a good way to do that, to include that on your website content. So again, we do have that over here as well, and when people go visit the page, they have the option to follow, just like they did with Facebook. So again, personal preference whether you're including the follow button or not for Google.